Hello everyone, I'm Alicia. Welcome to my Beautiful Nights channel. So I have been playing with Potomac Beads Best Bead Box XL, and I thought that I would do a pendant for you guys or earrings, but after sitting down and playing with all the materials, I made both pendant and earrings. They're different, they're not the same, but they're sort of similar how they start out. And so I liked both pieces so much that I decided to do 2 videos. Now my Potomac bead box came in late, so I got mine near the end of September. I usually get it at the beginning of the month, but I got mine late. So if you're watching this, it's already October and I'm showing you guys how to make this project using last month's box. But what I always do is I go to the site and I collect all the materials because I have codes for the beads here that I'm using from the box, and I will list all the materials that I'm using here down there in the description bar so you guys can make the same piece. So for this video I'm going to show you how to make a pendant using this 25mm cab. Now I posted a picture of the finished pendant at the beginning of the video. I'll show you guys again. So anyways, I'm going to show you guys how to make that incredible pendant. I love it so much. I wanted to make a second piece, but I didn't have another cab in my stash this size, so I'm only able to make one. Here's the list of materials you will need to make a pendant. You will need to cut 7 feet of 8-pound fireline. You will also need a size 10 beading needle. I'm using a tulip beading needle. And you will need a 25mm cabochon. You will also need 13 4mm Czech fire polish beads, 13 6mm Quadralentil beads, 13 Irisduo beads. Now I'm using the Irisduo Potomax, I think that's what it's called, beads, and this is the copper color, but there's 2 you can choose from, the glass or the metal ones. I actually prefer the glass ones more because they don't tarnish if you get them in an opaque color or a transparent color. If you avoid the metallic colors, they don't tarnish. So anyways, unless it's bronze, the regular bronze doesn't tarnish. You're also going to need 8 seed beads, 11 seed beads, 15 seed beads, and a chain or cord of your choice to hang your pendant from. Now I made this pendant so that the bails are hidden in the back of the necklace because the pendant to me kind of looks like a sunflower or some kind of flower. It is gorgeous, and I didn't want to see the bails on it for some reason. I felt like it was going to take away from the design, so I figured out how to add hidden bails on the back of the pendant, and so I'm using this copper Rolo chain here. This one's very long, but it can be cut to any length, or it's adjustable because of its Rolo chain. And if you want, you don't have to put on a chain or a cord. You can make beads. You could, you can string it. After you make it, you can string it and try to find beads in your stash that match it, or do that ahead of time, try to find other beads in your stash that look good with it. It's just totally up to you. And again, this is the list of materials. I will have all of this linked below except for the chain because that came out of my stash. But everything else is from the box. Oh wait, this color. I messed up. This color is from my stash. This is bronze. There's another color in the box though that you can use. It's a brown. It's like almost like a luster brown color. You can use that one in place of this if you want, but I went with this just because it is my favorite seed bead and I love it so much. Alright, so let's get started. So I just rewatched the material list and I realized I forgot to tell you that I am using Miyuki seed beads. All 3 of these sizes are Miyuki, so if you try using a Toho or a different brand, the pendant might not work for you because the beads are not the same exact size as mine, and so the pendant will probably look different, and that's what's going on. So just in case, I wanted to let you know about that. And also, this base stitch that I'm doing, it's going to be a little chain that we're going to do with 4mm and quadrulentils and 11 seed beads. Anyways, I make up the base, and then I do the top up, and then I could put my cabochon in it. Now, I do the same base for the teardrop earrings that I will show you in my next video or the video after my next video. And I did the same base for both this and the earrings, but this is a 25mm cab, and I think the teardrop stone I'm using from the Potomac bead box is an 18 by 25 or something like that. So I want you guys, if you don't have a 25mm cab in your stash, I want you to experiment with this stitch that I'm about to show you, because you could probably get similar results. Now the decorating that I will do for the outer edge will probably not be the same for you if you are using a different stone, but I'll show you as I go. Hopefully I can remember the base of this, and then you could decorate it the way you want to, or you could just leave the base as is, because with this pendant here I did find that there's several spots where I could have stopped and just left it as is, but I kept going because I wanted to decorate it even more. As you guys know, I really like to go overboard sometimes on decorating. So let's do the base stitch. So I'm going to pick up a 4mm Czech fire polish bead, Quadralentil, okay, and then 2 seed beads, and I might take my seed beads out of this tray because sometimes I feel like they're so far apart that I'm constantly going like this, so I put them together in a pile. And then I'm going to do another Quadralentil just like this, slide these beads down, and again I'm using 7 feet of thread, so slide it down. I'm going to leave a 6-inch tail. Right here's my mark. I'm going to go back through this again, like this. Okay, now we're using a bead that has 4 holes, so you have to pay very close attention that you do this the right way. Alright, let's see. I'm wiggling this. Alright, so this is what I have right now. I'm going to take my working tail, which is coming out of the Quadralentil, and I'm going to go through the Czech fire polish bead. Okay. Now I'm not going to worry about tying a knot, because going through this twice is kind of like a bead stopper, and if you have any problems you can undo this thread. That's also another good thing. Okay, so right now this is what we have. Now the seed beads is going to be the inside where this is going to rest on, like this, and then these here are going to be on the outside of the pendant. So now I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to pass back through the same hole in the Quadralentil, like this. Okay, pull all the thread out, and then go into the Quadralentil again, but on the other side, like this. So we're repositioning our needle. Okay, I'll get that out of the way. We don't need that no more. So now I have this. Okay, so I'm exiting it on this side. That means I have to pick up a 4mm. This is going to be our Czech fire polish bead side, and this is going to be our seed bead side, so we keep them separated. So I have that bead, then a Quadralentil, and then 2 11-those. Like this. And then I'm going to go through the Quadralentil, and I'm going to go through the same hole. Now make sure that you're going through the right hole every time, because when I was working on the earrings and I was using these Quadralentil beads, I went through the wrong hole because I was looking at it this way, and I passed through it when I should have turned it this way and paid more attention to which hole I was going through. I thought I went through the right one, but I didn't. Okay, so now I have this. I'm going to pass back through the Czech fire polish, and while I'm at it I'll also go through the Quadralentil, same hole there, and I'll hold this like this between my fingers and pull all my tail through. Just trying to tie a slip knot there, but I just have to pull this open and that slip knot comes undone. And then, okay, now it looks a little loose as you can see, but we're going to tighten it up. So right here, see how I have this Quadralentil has 2 open holes on the top? You're going to want to make sure that you have all your Quadralentils lined up. Good gosh, it's hard to say that. Make sure you have all your Quadralentils lined up where the 2 holes are open on the top side. Okay, so I'm holding it this way. I'm coming out of that side of the bead. I'm going to go through the next hole like this. Okay, And then I'm going to tighten it up. I found it easier to tighten this up after I did that. So then go like this, pull it tight, and see how it's all tight right there. And then you can see my two top holes up there. Okay, I'm going to do this again. Pick up a 4mm, a lintel. I'm just going to call it a lintel because quadralentil is too hard to say with all the other words I have to say. And then 2 11/0 seed beads, like this. Go through this lintel bead, same hole, pass through, okay, and then through the 4mm. So this little chain here, you're doing the same thing over and over. It's repetitive. And what did I say? With 11 for this one, it's 11 quadralentils that we're using. So you're going to keep doing this over and over until you use your lentils up. Now I'm going to go back through the same hole right there. Okay. Like that. I'm not worried about tightening it until I go through my last hole right here. Okay, through there. Because like you could tighten it when you get through that the first hole in the quadrilentil, but it's going to loosen up again. Now go like this with your fingers. You can also grab it like this and pull this here, but I just like to go like that, and it tightens it up. So these quadrilentils are awesome for making beaded bezels. I did something in the past with these. I never did a video on it, but I found them very challenging to use, but I was shocked that I was able to come up with a design like this for them. So picking up a 4, and then a lintel, and then 2 seed beads, 11/0 again. Okay, we're gonna go back through the same hole, just like this. Again, you want to keep 2 holes open up there on the top. We're not going to be using those 2 holes till later, after we make this into a circle. So like that, and then through the Czech fire polish, and I'll just go like this and go through that bead there too. Pull all my tail through. Okay, and then go through the next hole. So check your other beads, because look, you could accidentally go through this hole here, and then you have that one flipped upside down. So you want to make sure that it's sitting up like this, and that you pass through like that, okay? Keep going. I'm going to do this a few more times with you guys because it is repetitive, and then I will fast forward to the rest or just skip to the next part. I don't really know until I go to edit, but that's what I have, okay? Hold it tight again. Yeah, so this little chain here we're making is great for doing beaded bezels. And you can embellish it different ways. I actually tried it several different ways, but there's only a couple ways that I was truly happy with. So again, pick up the same beads, like this, go through the lintel, that hole there, and then pass through Czech fire polish, and while I'm at it, I'm going to go back through the lintel again with the same hole, pull this tight there, and then through the next lintel hole, or the same hole, lintel, but next hole in the lintel, like this. Okay, so you can see over here what's going on. Pull the tail through, okay, and I'll do it one more time with you guys. So this is what I have so far. All those holes there on the top, you can see they're open, okay. So again, we're on this side. That means we have to pick up a 4mm, the lintel, and then 2 seed beads. Go through the same hole that you're exiting out of, making a circle, then pass back through the 4 and go through the same hole right here. I just do those together because it's quicker instead of doubling back. Okay, now I have this. I'm going to go through the next hole in the bottom, because you want those two right there open on the top. And pull this tight. Just like that. Okay? Now see, I did not tie a knot at the beginning, but it is going well. I see a lot of people that still do that bead stopper thing, but sometimes I feel like the bead stopper is aggravating. Sometimes it moves, it doesn't stay in place sometimes, I find, and I just rather go through the beginning bead a few times and it'll stay in place. I don't even have to tie a knot sometimes. But the reason why we didn't tie a knot is because we don't want to block up any holes right now, because we're going to be going back through some beads over and over again. Alright, so this is what I have so far. I'm going to keep going doing this stitch until I use up my quadrulentils, and I will be back and show you how to close this up. Okay, so I just added my last lintel, and if you're trying to remake this but with your own cabochon, what you want to do is lay it like this. You want the seed beads to be on the inside. The bigger beads, the blue beads, will be on the outside. And you'll put your cab down like this, and this will rest on the seed beads. It's a little stiff right now because I just made it. But you just want to go around like this and get it to meet up. And then you can do what I'm fixing to show you. Okay, so I'm going to pick up my last 4mm Czech fire polish bead coming out of this lintel over here. I'm gonna go on this side. Okay, I want to stay on the same side. I want to go through the bottom hole like this, as you could see on my other side. Pull my tail through. We're making a circle. So then when I pull it, all the blue beads are on one side there. Okay, and then I'm gonna pick up 2 11s and go through this quadrantal again, right there, making a circle to close this up. Okay, like this. I'm going to go back through this here, and I'm going to go through the quadrantal just like that. Okay, just like we would be doing if we added another quadrantal, we're just connecting it to the other side, really. Okay, I gotta get this tight. Okay, so that's what I have right there. And then I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go up through this quadrantal here, because if you look, there is a thread going over each quadrantal except for this spot right here. So I'm going to go through here and pull my tail through. Okay, and then I'm gonna go, this might sound crazy, but I'm gonna go back around because I have to go to the back side, believe it or not. This is gonna be the back of our pendant, and we have to make the base for the cab to rest on. So now it's really secure. Okay, that's what we just did there. I'm gonna take my needle and let's see, I think I want to go, yeah, I'll go in this direction because I can't really go in that direction because I have to pick up 2 beads and that just don't make sense. I have to go this way. So I'm coming out this hole right here, and the closest beads to this hole are these seed beads. So I'm going to go through these 2, and I will be fast forwarding through this because it's very simple and it's time consuming, but it's simple and repetitive. So I went through those seed beads there, okay, and see how this is really big and open. We're going to close this up, and we're going to have the quadrantals sort of touch each other. So coming out here, I'm going to pick up 2 11s. Like this, and go through the next 2. You don't have to pull this tight because it's going to keep loosening up, and you're really just going to want to pull it tight at the end. Pick up 2 again, go through the next 2. We're going to go around the whole bottom, going through 2 seed beads at a time, picking up 2, going through 2. So we have a circle of seed beads on the bottom. Okay, again, 2. Go through the next 2. 2. Go through the next 2. I'm going to fast forward this now. Alright, so I just went all the way around. I'm now back at the beginning. I'm going to pass through 2. Just like that. Pick up my last 2 there in that circle. So this is going to tighten up for us. Okay, now I'm going to pull my thread tight. Okay, like this. And it kind of turns like into, I guess I would say, a basket, and then the cab fits in there like this. It's awesome. So this is the base. This is the base stitch that you would make, okay, to make a bezel for a cabochon or teardrop, because teardrop worked for this. An oval shape should work for this. I think even a square might work for this, depending on, you know, how many, because these are 6mm quadralentil beads. It depends on how many you can get on each side. What I did first when I designed this is I laid the quadralentils down and then I put the stone over it, and I'm like, if I could figure out how to get this to go around, and then I ended up coming up with the little chain stitch and I got it to work. Okay, so that's what I have right now. I'm not going to reinforce this. I think I will do that later when I tie knots, because this is like the perfect area to tie knots in. So I'm going to probably hold off on reinforce it, and I'll do that when I go to finish the piece off and tie knots. I'm going to go through here. Okay. Pull it tight. And then I'm going to go up through the top hole on my quadralentil here. And make sure that you pull it tight. Okay, this is what I have. Now we're going to put some seed beads here on the top and outer edge. I love this part. Okay, but again, you have to make sure that you're going through the right hole on the quadralentil, because this is the part that I screwed up on the earrings and I had to undo them. So you're going to pick up an 8/0 seed bead and an 11/0 and then an 8/0. Now this part here, the beads that I'm picking up for here on this is different from the teardrop that I did, because of how the teardrop was recessed because it was faceted. I had to use smaller beads, but with this one I'm able to use the bigger ones. So 8/0, 11/0, 8/0, and you want to go through the next quadralentil hole right there, the top hole. Okay, through there. Like that. And now I'm going to pick up 3/15s of this amazing color. It's like a yellow color. I want to buy more of these, but I don't think there was a number on the bag for this one. Anyways, I think they might be semi-glazed though, something like that. I'm going to go through the same quadralentil but in the opposite hole, like this. Okay, pull it snugly, and then pick up an 8, an 11, and an 8, like this. Go through the next quadralentil, like that, and then I'm back on this side and I have to do the 3/15s again. So this here, I'm going to be repeating this all the way around. But I do want to point out that the 15s are going to be on one lintel bead. See that there? But the area we're doing the 8s and 11s, that's going to be going between lintel beads. So see, it's between, those are between. So again, I'm in between 2 lintels, so that means I have to do an 8, an 11, and an 8. And go through the next one right there. Now, I didn't have any store-bought cabs to remake this pendant, but I do wonder if I have resin ones, but I didn't get to look through those because I'm actually working on like 4 or 5 projects right now, believe it or not. I have so much going on, but I would have loved to make a second one of these pendants. And I'm going to do 3/15s again. There's 2, and those are so tiny. and they're far away also. 3 right there. Go through the next lintel. Just like that. Okay, so I'm going to keep going doing this all the way around, and then I will be back and show you what to do next. Alright, so I'm now at the close. I'm pulling this tight. This is what I have so far. You can see my outer edge right there. So cool. I'm going to pick up 8, and 11, and 8. Go through my next quadrilentil. Okay, so I have the inside circle complete. Now I have to do the last 3 15-ohs right here. And go through the quadrilentil. And then I'm going to pass up through, just like that, through the 8 and the 11. Because now we're going to be working on the next layer that's going to keep our cab from falling out. Okay, so pull this tight and lay it down like this. And we have a nice donut. And believe it or not, this donut can be turned into a teardrop shape if you put a teardrop stone in there. Okay, we're going to put our cab in now, and I think I should zoom in for this because I kind of feel like I have to leave this sitting down so I don't break my glass cab, because gosh, I have bad luck with that. I've done that a couple times already. So I just put my cab in there and it fits so perfectly. I'm going to zoom in closer because I really want you to see how perfect that fit is. Look at that. It's perfect. I love this bezel so much. Alright, now I'm going to leave this down. I put my finger on it like this, and I'm going to be picking up 115, 111, 2 15s, 111. Just like this. Okay, that's the order I'm going to be doing it. And then I'm going to pass, I guess I should get closer. I'm going to pass my needle through the next 11-0. Right there. See that? And then I turn this and pull it, because you want to pull your needle in the direction that you're, so you want to turn it to the direction you have to pull so that you don't jerk it out of your hand. Okay? And then I'm going to pick up another 11, 2 15s, an 11, go through the next 11 right there. And again, I turn this and pull my thread in the direction that I have to go, right there like that. And then 11 again, 2 15s. What is that noise outside? A jet or something that is so loud. Just like that. Go through the next one. Actually sounds like a train going down my street. I don't know if y'all can hear that or not, but that is really loud. Okay, and I'll pick it up so you can see. That's what I have so far. Okay, but you do want to keep this laying down, because if you're like me, you'll probably break your cabochon. Okay, again, pick up another 11, 2 15s, and another 11, and go through the next 11 right here in between those 8-ohs. And I'm going to do this all the way around. So I'm going to fast forward this because it's pretty simple, as you can see. And I'll come back and show you what to do next. Okay, so here I am at the close. I'm going to pick up an 11 again, 2 15s, and an 11. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to go back through where I started at the very beginning, just like this. And close it up. Now, if you're designing your own and you go to close this and it's too tight, you will have to add more seed beads or larger seed beads. And I tried different things. I did more and less, 11s and 15s to get it to fit just right. But there we go. Isn't that beautiful? I love that. Okay, so I decided not to reinforce this row at this time because when I go to tie my knots, I'm going to be tying this tail here on the back in those seed beads, and then I realized I should tie my knots with this tail here on the top row. because of how I'm going to do the outer edge. It's going to be too crazy to tie knots in that area. So I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to pass down through this 8, through the quadrilentil like this, okay, and pull this tight as you can get it, okay, and then go through these two 15-ohs right here like that. Pull everything tight again, and now I'm exiting is what I was trying to say, out of the center 15 right here. I keep swapping them, but the yellows are 15s and these are 11s. Sorry about that. So coming out here, I'm going to pick up 111 and go through this 4mm, okay, and then pick up another 11 and go through the center 15 like that. Pick up another 11, go through the next 4 just like this, another 11, go through the center 15. So this is pretty simple. We're going to be doing this all the way around. I'm going to stop here though and pull it tight, okay? So after you do like 4 beads or so, pull it tight, pick up another 11, go through the next 4mm, and do it again. So I'm going to continue doing this all the way around, and I'll show you what to do once you get a full circle. Alright, so here I am. As you can see, there's my other side. I have another 11 that I'm popping in. Okay, pulling it tight. And then my very last 11 to complete the circle. So I'm going to go through this 15 and then through my first 11, just like this. Alright, so here is one of the points where you could stop right here on this. This right now, actually if this was a smaller cab, this can be turned into a ring if you wanted to, but you could stop right here and make this a pendant or earring, you know, depends if you have 2 pairs or whatever. But there's going to be a few points where you could stop at this project if you want to. You don't have to go all the way and decorate it. It's totally up to you. But this is what we have so far. Now I'm going to pick up a 15, an 11, a 15, an 8, a 15, 11, and a 15. This little bead sequence right here, okay, we're going to be picking this up all the way around, and we're going to pass through this 11, okay, skip over the 15 that we went through earlier and go through the next 11 just like this. Skip over that 15, okay, pull your tail through and you should have this. See how it hugs around that 4mm bead there? We're going to do this all the way around. So again, a 15, an 11, a 15, an 8, a 15, an 11, and a 15. Just like that. Go through this 11, skip over the 15, and go through the next 11. Like that. If you have a hard time getting through both of them at the same time, you can just do one at a time. I just do both because it's quicker for me. But whatever's best for you, do it the way you feel best. Okay? Just like that. Look how pretty that is already. Alright, 15, an 11, a 15, an 8-0, a 15, an 11, and then a 15. Like this. Again, through this 11, skip over the 15, through the next 11. just like that. So I'm going to keep going all the way around. And looking at this pendant, it does look difficult, but there's actually very simple things that you just repeat over and over to make it. It's not difficult. So a 15, 11, 15, an 8, a 15, an 11, and a 15. Through this 11, skip over that 15, and go through the next 11. Okay, I'm going to do this all the way around, and I'll come back and show you what to do next. Okay, here I am, all the way back around. I'm going to go through this 11 and through the next one. Alright, I try not to go under the thread that's inside of that bead because you could feel it, the resistance of it. Now there's going to be resistance when you go through there because you're going through where you started. And there's already been there, you know. Alright, so this is what I have so far. So right here again is another point where you could stop right here if you wanted to. It looks good just like this. So I just realized that I forgot to add my bails in the section where I did just the 15s going around. So I'm going to try to add them now. Now I'm using a cab that's round, so mine spins. If you grab the front and the back, it can spin for you. So that's a good thing. But if you're using a square or a different shape where you can't spin it, then you will have to stitch your needle to the area that you need it to be to add your bails. So I'm going to add 2 bails. So I'm going to go through right here because of how my thread's coming out. I'm going to pass underneath there. Okay, get on the back side. Where is that tail going? Well, that's my working tail. I'm like, what is going on? Okay, I'm going to go through this 4mm Czech fire polish bead, just the one. Okay. Like that. Are they both coming out? Oh, they are. That's weird. Okay, I'm going to pick up 10 15-0 seed beads. This is for my bail. I'm doing 2 of them. 10 is a good size for my chain to pass through. If you're using a larger chain, you might need to do more, or even less if you're doing a thin chain. Did I just pick up 11? Yeah. Okay. There are my 10 seed beads. I'm going to slide them down. I'm going to go back through the same 4mm Czech fire polish bead, just like this. I'm going to pass back through all of these seed beads a second time. Reinforcing. Now I'm only going to reinforce this 2 times because I'm going to have 2 bails. So I don't feel that it's necessary to reinforce this a lot with having 2 bails. So 2 should be good enough. Alright, so I went back through all of those seed beads again. Hope I'm in frame. And then I'm going to go through this Czech fire polish bead again, just like that. Okay, pull that tight. Now I have to reposition my needle and come out over here. So I'm going to be skipping over 2 of these. So I'm going to have to stitch up through the top. Let's see. I need to go through here again. Okay. And I'm going to pass through these 15s, skipping that, or 11s I mean, go through the 11s, skip that 15. Because it has such a small hole, it's really not necessary to go through it. In case we have to go through it again later, we don't want to block it up with a bunch of thread. And then I'm going to go through this 4, and going through an angle there, as you can see, because it's easier to get through. And now I'm on the back side, which I can't really pass through the 11-0 on that side, so I'm going to go back up to the top. And in order to do that, I have to go through this loop, and then I'm going to go through this 11 and through the next 11, wiggle my way through. into the next 4mm. Ouch. Come out this side. Whoa, I just grabbed the corner of my mat there. Back up through the top. We're almost there. Through 2 more beads. This 15, or not 15, I keep calling them the wrong name. I'm sorry about that. Okay, through the 2 11s, that one and that one. And then out through this 4, just this 4, because this is where we're going to add our second bail. Make sure I'm not caught on anything. And you're probably thinking, how is this going to work? You'll see. You'll see once we get there. Okay, and if you do make a ring like this, of course you're going to want a smaller cab. You would make the ring band right here off the 4mm Czech fire polish beads. Okay, so it's going to be just like this. I'm going to pick up 10 seed beads again, and then we'll reinforce them again, and then we'll reposition our needle to pick up more beads. I'm not counting at all, I'm just scooping. Let's see. I have, there's 5, there's 10, and I don't need those 2. I'm going to go back through this 4mm, making a loop, reinforce this a second time. So even though I forgot to add my bails earlier when I did just the 11/0, it's working out totally fine right here. I mean, I do have to wiggle my way through the loops there to go up and down, but it's still working. Okay, going through that last 11 there and then through the 4. So that's reinforced twice. Pull that tight, and then I'm going to take my needle, go up through this loop because I have to come out on the top side. Okay, I'm going to take my needle and go through, wait a second, am I coming out the, okay, go through this 15, through the next 15, like that, and then pass through, I said 15 again, didn't I? Good grief. Those 2 11s. The bronze seed beads, those are 11s. The yellow ones are 15s. So I'm coming out just like this to this point, because I'm going to be adding my Irisduos. Just like that, you want to be exiting out there. Now, these are heavy, so I'm going to pull all of these out. Okay, so I'm going to pick up 115, an Irisduo. I'm going to lay it down here like this for you, because I want you to see it needs to be going like this. Okay, they're all going to be going like that, so I have to go through this hole and then pick up a next 15. So if you want, you can lay the bead down every time to make sure you're going through the right hole. Just like that, those 3 beads, and then I'm going to pass through the next 15 in this point, and through the 8, and through the next 15. Just like this. Pick up a 15 again, the next Irisduo, a 15, through this 15, the 8 and the 15. Just like that. See that there? 15. I just got 15 on the brain, y'all. That's what's going on. Irisduo, 15. I have been working with this size a lot, so just like that. Pick up a 15. Irisduo, 15. Go through this 15, through the 8, and through the next 15. So pretty simple. We're going to do this all the way around, and I'll show you what to do when you get all around. All the way around, okay? Keep going. Okay, I'm at the close. Pick up the 15 again. This is true 15, by the way. This ain't no 11 pretend to be a 15. And then pass through these 3. Actually, pass through these 2 beads right here. You want to come out the 8-0. Wiggle, wiggle. Just like that. Okay, I'm going to pull this tight. Coming out of the 8-0, I'm going to pick up a 15, an 11, and a 15, like this. Go through the Irisduo. Okay, a 15, an 11, and a 15, and then go through the 8-0 here. You'll have to go through it at an angle because the 15s are blocking it. Okay, just like that. And a 15, 11, and a 15 through the Irisduo. 15, 11, 15. So you can see, you're probably starting to see why I kept going with this. Like I showed you the other times where you could have stopped making this if you wanted to. But the more I go on, you're probably seeing how awesome it looks, right? Doesn't that look really good with the beads like that on the edge there? So again, a 15, an 11, and a 15. I just couldn't stop. It was like I kept adding beads, and it's like, oh my gosh, that looks good. I'm gonna keep going. And every round I did, it just kept looking better and better, and I really think it kind of looks like a sunflower. Okay, 3 beads. Go through this 8. Just the 8. You could push that bead up so you could pass through it. Try not to catch on anything. So very simple. Like I said, it's simple little steps that you just repeat over and over to make this gorgeous piece. 15, 11, 15 through the Irisduo. You just alternate going between, you pick up the same beads on this row. You're just alternating going in between 8-0 and Irisduo. Okay, so come out the Irisduo, go through this 8-0. Alright, pretty simple. I'm going to do this all the way around, but here is what it looks like so far. Very pretty. I'm going to keep on going and I'll be back. Okay, I'm on the last one, 15, 11, 15, going through this 8-0. Wiggle, wiggle. Alright, I did it all the way around. I'm going to lay it down, flatten it out, and show you. That's what we have so far. So now we are on our very last row, believe it or not. I'm going to take my needle, go through the 15, 11, and 15, just like that. Okay, pull that tight. And then I'm going to pick up 3 15s, an 11, and 3 15s. Just like this. It's going to go around the outside here of my Irisduo, and I think this is what really makes it look like a flower to me. See that? It's perfect. I love that. And then pick up an 8, and this 8 is going to sit on top of this 8, but exiting out of the 11, you're going to skip over the 15, the 8, and the 15, and you're going to go in through the next 11, so it sits like this. This makes it stay flatter, okay? Because right now the Irisduos are wanting to flop all around, so this gives it a better shape. So 3 15s, an 11, and 3 15s, and then go through these 2 like that, okay? And then an 8. Turn, go through this 11 and through the next bead there, that 15. And then 3 15s, an 11, 3 15s. Go through those 2. Pick up an 8. turn and go through this one. 3/15s, an 11, and 3/15s. Through these two, like that, an 8. This has a very vintage look to it, doesn't it? It's really pretty. I guess because of the color mix. Through these two, and then keep going. So I'm going to do this all the way around. I'm putting in my last 8/0 seed bead. It's going to go right through here. I'm going to pass through all these beads just like this. Okay, pull this tight. Now I do have a good amount of thread left over. Here, I'll show you. Maybe like 1.6 inches, maybe like 1.4 inches. Anyways, I have a good amount of tail left over, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to reinforce this whole outside edge, which I could tie knots if I want to. But what I really want to do is get back up in here and reinforce this row, because I have not done that yet. So I think I'm just going to go through here, zip all the way through, reinforce the very outside edge. Basically, I'm just going through the same beads I already went through. And then I'm going to show you how to sew up through this into the top so that you can reinforce this here. So right here is my starting point, and what I like to do as a marker, I started doing this a few days ago, is I take a little safety pin, and right here is where I'm starting at. So I'm just going to put this pin in place, okay, just to show me where I started at. And then I'm going to go through all of these beads again, reinforce this whole outer side edge. This should really help with the floppiness of the 15-0s on the outside edge, because I'm going to have to go to that one bead because of the angle there. Because you're stiffening it up going through a second time. So anyways, I'm going to reinforce this whole outside edge, and I'll come back and show you how to stitch up through the top so you can reinforce around that cab. Okay, so I'm at the beginning. I'm going to take my safety pin off. If I didn't put this safety pin on, y'all, I thought I probably would have went through it 3 times already, because it did take a while to do that. So anyways, I'm coming out of this 15-0 right here. I didn't tie any knots because I knew that tying knots is going to make my tail shorter, and I wanted to get up there to reinforce that top of my cab. So I'm passing through all of these beads right here. Okay. You want to follow the same thread paths, don't make any new ones. So I'm going through that 8/0, going through these, 15, 11, 15. If I can, I'll go through that 8, or no, good grief, through that 11. But I don't think I can, so I'm just going to wiggle through here. Be careful that you don't break any beads. I've done that. It's very heartbreaking. It's easier to do it to the 11-0s, but you know what? I feel like seed beads break because some of them have an air pocket. With the transparent ones, I've seen it on the 6-0 seed beads, there'll be an air pocket that's going through the side of the bead next to the hole, and that makes it weak, and then when you're trying to get through and it's tight, it'll pop. Okay, so I'm going through those 3 now, and then through the quadralentil, and it's kind of hard to get through that 8-0 right there, so I just go like that, and then I pass through here so that I'm back on the outside, and then I get up through this 8 and through that 11. Let's see. It's a little tight. I'm going to go up through the 8 first, and then through this 11 right here. Okay, and then I'm going to start tying my knots, and I'm going to tie my knots in front of the 11s because, you know, the 15s are smaller. So I just go underneath that thread right there, make a loop, and pass through the loop twice. Bring this down. Okay, My thread came off my needle, so I'm just going to thread it again. So I'm going to go through 3 beads. Then I'm going to tie another knot here. Bring that knot down. Okay, go through 2 11s and then I'll tie another knot. Now if you want, you can use your safety pin again to mark your start, which I probably should do that, or really what I just do is I go as far as I can until I run out of thread. Go all the way around here, tie knots reinforcing this, and you will notice that it will be tighter. And then I have to go back here and put a needle onto this thread. Right now it's coming out of the Czech fire polish bead, so I'm going to go around. I'm going to go through this quadrilental hole right here, and then I'll go in through these 2 seed beads, okay, out here through these 2, and then I'll tie knots in here, which will be a little tricky. You might have to use pliers to pull your needle through. If it's too tricky, you can back it out and tie your knots in the row with the 4s, or even in this row here. So you do have some options. You don't have to tie it back here because it is kind of recessed in. See that there? So anyways, I'm going to finish tying both off, but I just want to show you. I'm going to put my awl here in my bail to open it up. I'm going to put my chain on. Now, I don't know if I'm going to keep this full length. I did try it on full length because I already made this, took it apart, and it looked good at full length. I was shocked. And since my beads are metal, I could do it at full length to prevent them from tarnishing, because you know touching the skin makes it tarnish. So just pull it out, and just like this. Okay, now you might have to spin. I already spun mine. I guess I did it earlier. You might have to spin your cab, but if you're using a stone that is not round, you can't spin it. So I said earlier that you would have to pay attention to where you put your bails at. But that's what it looks like. See that? I like that hidden bail. I think that's cool. I love this. It turned out really neat, and it's a color combination I never use, so I'm pretty excited about it. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe if you want to see more of my videos, and make sure you click the bell button so that you get notified whenever I upload new videos, and check me out on my social media sites. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter. Thanks for watching.